Hello everybody and welcome back to Computer Shorts. Today I'll be reviewing Life is Strange. I'm only going to show footage from part 1, so I don't reveal too much of the story while still giving a general overview of the game. I also have to say that this game is hard to make a review for. How do you review something that plays on an individual's emotions? It's difficult when everyone has their own personal experience when playing the game. Not necessarily decision-wise, but as far as connecting with the characters and your morals as a person. However, I'm going to try my best to review this game from my experience. So let's take a look at the footage. So first off, it was brought to my attention in my last posted videos by none other than my brother Doug that I wasn't necessarily covering the key points of each game. I basically just rambled on about the game and talked about what I wanted to talk about. But the viewer comes first, so I'm going to start covering these key elements starting in this video. Now, I'm not saying I'm not going to get off topic, because this game is especially difficult to play, and I'll explain why. Now, I've got to say, this is one of the most powerful games I've ever played. The story is full of tragedy, and yet there's still a friendship throughout. It's a reminder that even when things seem like they're shit, there's always a friend there to help you out. Never in my life have I played a game that showed this more. Now let's talk about the background of this game. You start off in a forest without any explanation of what's going on. You wander through the dark and rainy forest until you reach the lighthouse, where you get crushed by it. You're then in a film class as a girl named Max. Right off, you're given a lot of insight on her character by reading all the things on her desk, including her journal. I don't want to give away any of the story, but she does discover she can reverse time, but that can most likely be gotten out of all the trailers for this game when it released. The goal of Life is Strange is to make decisions based off your own moral compass. Every decision's also weighted, I discovered, as almost every decision had both good and bad consequences. But weighted doesn't really cover it. These decisions are often so difficult you can't even make a decision. Some of the decisions were so powerful they made you want to just give up. How can you justifiably make decisions without knowing the true consequences? For this reason alone, this game has completely torn me down and rebuilt me into something who appreciates life a little bit more than the people I have in it. Some of the less traumatic decisions, however, can easily be overlooked, as I found at the end of part 1, but I'll get to that. In every decision, you can select any of the options it gives you, but if you feel like you made the wrong decision, as I often felt I did, you can reverse time and switch your answer. This is also beneficial to obtain an answer to a question you may not have had the first time. Now, as for the player audience, there's generally a lot of swearing and intense scenes involving adult content, such as drug use and just overall violence. For the audience, I would have to say high school level and up. Any younger audiences either would find these scenes too disturbing, and probably scar them for life, or wouldn't understand what's really going on. As far as user-friendliness goes, the game is simple in this aspect. You progress through the story, making decisions as you go. The story builds itself upon these decisions, and that's really all there is to playing this game. As boring as it sounds, though, think of this game like Until Dawn with time-reversing elements. It's scary as hell to be in complete control of someone else's life other than your own, even if it is a game. Based on my 1 to 10 rating scale, where 1's the easiest, I'd probably give this game a 4. There's still some puzzle solving involved when it comes to manipulating time and making everything happen in the right order. And I won't lie, sometimes I was really stumped on what to do, and I had to reverse time 10 or 15 times before I figured it out. As for the skill level, I've decided to make up my own scale of difficulty for this too when it comes to games. It's still based on a 1 to 10 scale, but 1's the easiest you can get without having the game play it for you, and 10 is where you have to get angry to get anything done in the game. This first part of Life is Strange would be somewhere in the range of a 5 to 7, depending on your skill set and the situation. It wasn't overly difficult when it came to the gameplay itself. The reason I say 5 is because you can walk around and interact with characters a good deal of the time. I say 7 though because the decisions you have to make are extremely difficult to choose one or the other. Now, I don't usually do this, but I have to talk about the soundtrack in this game. First off, I love the fact that they accurately give a source to the music through our main character's earbuds, and you see this in other parts of the game with a stereo system. And the music really fits. and I just can't place what makes it work so well. It's inspiring and truly captures Max as a character as she lives her life. The music helps you feel for the character right from the start of the game. Here, take a listen. I think that says it all about the game. The characters themselves each have their own personalities, but it's more than that. The characters also show you that a true friend is always there when you need them, no matter what has gone wrong. You also start to relate with them, and you feel for them, and all the experiences you have to go through. Max is at the center of the universe, and I have to say her character was written perfectly. You feel for her the most, as she controls what happens to other characters, when in turn you're controlling her. This game itself is hard to play, and I wondered why. Well, I think I know why after playing the rest of the game. Max is relatable. She reminds me of the dark times I had in middle school, when I was alone. Also, it combines with the confused me of now trying to figure out how college works. Yeah, after 2 years, I still don't have a hell of a clue. Also, on a personal note, I'm going to be transferring to a 4-year after the summer, where I have to start all over again when it comes to making friends and fitting in.
There's Juliet from my
I honestly don't think I could have picked a better personal time for me to play this game and truly feel for Max. Maxine essentially is what we all try to avoid, but still come across at some point in our lives. Being alone and not really being able to fit
I
in.
hate these posters.
Now, another thing that was cool about this game is the fact that at the end of the part, it shows your percentages on what other people chose as well as your decisions you made. Now here's what I'm talking about earlier. I just missed some of the choices you can make, and it automatically defaulted to me not doing whatever the choice was. As this was my first playthrough, I didn't realize that this game was more open world than Until Dawn, so I didn't really check everything out. Turns out, instead of looking at every scrap of paper I saw tacked to the wall, I should have been looking out for these other events because I missed a lot of them. I may replay this game as it is replayable based on the numerous choices you can make, or I'll just see if I can go back to a point where I can explore these events a little bit more. I've already taken about 2.5 hours just for part 1, and I still missed events. However, this is a type of game you don't want to rush through, and you want to look at everything. It's visually appealing, and I love how the camera changes angles when you sit down somewhere. Now, I told you guys I wouldn't get too off topic, so let's get to the rating. Based on all the elements involved in this game, I'm about to create a historical event in the history of Raging Glory videos. I'm giving this game a 10 out of 10. That's right, a perfect score. Never have I given any game a 10, as I don't believe in anything that has been built to perfection. This game's the closest you can get. However, with that being said, I had to give this game a 10 because it was designed in such a way that I felt for all of the characters. Not many modern games do that these days, especially third-person ones. Even in Until Dawn, which I keep mentioning because it's really the closest thing to this kind of game, I never really grew too attached to the characters. In fact, from the very start of that game, I felt they were either preppy, bitchy, far too dramatic, or all of the above. Life is Strange keeps it real, and provides a believable scene of college life in a modern-day, small-town setting. Now, I also have to mention a couple of flaws, but I didn't think it really affected the rating. There were a couple of audio syncing issues where the characters would be talking, but it looked like the audio didn't line up. There was also one point in the game which I didn't record because it's near the end, where Max had dialogue and her mouth wasn't moving at all. There's also a couple other glitches in the game when it comes to visual appearance. There was also a couple of other audio glitches with the music where the audio would just cut out for a second. But that's expected. You can't build a perfect game, even if they tried. So I'm still giving it a 10. So with all that being said, you're probably wondering if you should buy the game. The answer is yes. For $20, you get your money's worth, as you can play through this game multiple times. However, after playing through this game once and knowing what's going on in the story, it doesn't seem nearly as appealing. The best part about this game is that you didn't have all the answers. So despite its replayability, this seems more like a one-time playthrough to me. It was hard enough to make decisions the first time. I'm just not sure if I could do that again. Especially when I know where the road ultimately ends. On a side note, I'd like to mention that a second season of Life is Strange is being made. Goat Nod Entertainment has hinted that this second season, per se, will be released either late this year or early in 2017. Honestly, I'm wondering what they're going to do next, as this story is closed. I have heard that a new cast of characters will be introduced, but I feel like I've grown so attached to this set of characters that it wouldn't be quite the same. Either way, I'll be buying it when it comes out to see if it does live up to this game. Now, this is supposed to be a short review, and I've been droning on for quite some time, so until next time, this is Computer Shorts, signing off.
Crosses all over the boulevard. Crosses all over